After 14 years of wrongful imprisonment, Edmund finally returned to the small town he once called home. His most desperate hope was simple: to find his father, the one person he had left in the world. But fate, it seemed, wasn't done with him yet. The news hit him like a physical blow, his knees buckled.
He died many years ago.
When did he die?
5, 6 years ago.
His vision went dark, and for a moment he could barely stand. Pulling himself together through sheer force of will, he made his way to the church where his father had been laid to rest. With the priest's guidance, he found the grave only to be dealt another cruel blow. The priest told him the old man had died alone in 1925, with no one to mourn him, no eulogy spoken over his grave. Everyone believed Edmund had been executed for treason 10 years prior and was buried right beside him.
He died 10 years before the father. Shame, isn't it?
The revelation hit like a thunderclap. He was very much alive, so why did the whole world think he was dead? Confused and burning with grief, Edmund went to the home of Mercedes, his former fiancée. What greeted him there shattered what little remained of his heart.
She married and moved to Paris.
Memories of their time together flooded back, and each one felt like a knife twisting deeper. He walked away feeling hollow, like a ghost drifting through the life that had been stolen from him, with no idea where to turn next. It was then that he stumbled upon a guard brutally beating a man he just tackled to the ground. Something inside Edmund snapped. The rage he'd been bottling up for 14 years exploded to the surface, and without a second thought, he charged forward, shoved the guard aside, and let every ounce of his pain and humiliation pour out of his fists. What he couldn't have known was that this chance encounter would give him the most loyal companion of his life. After freeing the man, Jacopo, from his shackles, Edmund tried to send him on his way. But Jacopo wasn't going anywhere. No matter how many times Edmund brushed him off, the man stuck to him like a shadow.
Hey, you, go that way.
Their scuffle together drew the attention of a patrol, forcing both men to hide in a passing carriage, which smuggled them out of the city. During their escape, Edmund learned that Jacopo ran a brandy smuggling operation and owned a boat. His ears perked up immediately. He needed a vessel to reach the island of Monte Cristo and claim the legendary treasure the old priest had left him. When he found out Jacopo had no idea how to sail, Edmund, a former sailor, struck a deal. He'd navigate them home. Then, through a mix of charm and cunning, he steered the boat straight to Monte Cristo instead. Once ashore, he told Jacopo and his nephew to watch the boat while he went to catch a goat for dinner. He climbed to the summit alone. According to the treasure map, there was a rock formation shaped like a rabbit visible from a point overlooking the entire bay, and 20 paces west of it lay the hidden entrance to the treasure. Edmund scoured every inch of that mountain and found nothing. Frustration and despair washed over him. Had he gone through all of this for nothing?
Where is it, Abby? Where is it? Tell me!
He was pacing it out one more time when Jacopo's voice cut through the silence from behind him.
What are you doing, man? You need a compass to catch a goat?
Complaining that they were wasting perfect sailing weather and needed to head home. With Jacopo holding the cards and the gun, Edmund had no choice but to reluctantly follow. As he sailed away, he kept glancing back at the island with a heavy heart. Then something caught his eye, 2 stone pillars jutting up from the summit. His breath caught in his throat. They were a perfect match for the rabbit rock marked on the map. Joy surged through him so powerfully he could barely contain it, but he forced himself to stay calm, not wanting to tip off Jacopo. He made a silent promise to himself. He would come back. Back at Jacopo's hometown, the family welcomed Edmund warmly to thank him for saving Jacopo's life. They fed him, celebrated him, and Jacopo even tried to set him up with his sister and offer Edmund politely but hastily declined. Sitting around the table surrounded by their laughter and warmth, Edmund felt a quiet ache settle in his chest. Watching this happy, close-knit family, he couldn't help but think, if not for the injustice that had swallowed his life whole, he might have had all of this, a table of his own, people to laugh with, a life worth coming home to. That night, sleep refused to come. The old priest's words echoed in his mind, over and over.
Where great treasure hoard is hidden, I believe it's still there.
Until the restlessness became unbearable. Under the cover of darkness, he quietly borrowed Jacopo's small sailboat and slipped back out to sea. At the first gray light of dawn, Edmund set foot on Monte Cristo again. This time, he went straight to the 2 towering stones and carefully followed the map's directions. When he turned around, his jaw dropped. Hidden behind the rocks was a narrow, concealed opening. Hands trembling, he moved the stones aside and ducked into the darkness. At first, the cave seemed unremarkable, but a dozen steps in, the sight before him stopped him cold. Dozens of chests, large and small, were scattered across the cavern floor. He threw them open one by one, and each one blazed with brilliance. Gold coins, jewels, precious stones of every kind caught the faint light and erupted in color. He let the coins run through his fingers, listening to them chime against each other in the silence of the cave, the sound ringing out like the opening notes of a symphony written just for him. The legendary fortune that was said to rival the wealth of nations was real, and it was his.
God bless you, Abby Farrier.
Edmund stepped out of the cave and spread his arms wide as the first light of morning broke across the horizon. Everything that came before, the suffering, the betrayal, the years stolen from him, that was one chapter. But standing here now, with the world at his feet, a new chapter was beginning. One built not on endurance and loss, but on power, vengeance, and, perhaps, redemption.